Hi, it's Sarah Wu. I'm back today to talk to you about how to correct a lisp. And what I'm referring to when I talk about a lisp is when the S is produced interdentally, meaning between the teeth. Almost like the TH in with, the tongue is coming out of the mouth and is visible and is producing a distortion in the S sound. So let's think about how the S sound is produced. It can be produced in one of two ways. The first way is with the tongue tip up behind the teeth. S. We often talk about it being produced by the alveolar ridge, which is that ridge up and behind your top teeth. So this might be a more typical thing that you will see in production of the S. S. Now there's the second way to produce the S, and it's with the tongue tip down behind the bottom of the teeth. And so how that looks is S, S. Perceptually, I don't think there's much of a difference, and this second way to produce S can be so powerful to help people who produce an interdental S, the lisp. It can be really helpful for them to learn how to produce the tip down S. So here are some things that I tell my people who have a lisp what to do. I tell them to take their tongue and keep it behind their teeth. And with children, what I say is your tongue is kind of like a snake and we want to keep it in the cage of the teeth. So you're gonna have them clamp down on their teeth like this, and you're gonna want them to spread their lips as if they're smiling. So you'll say S, and you want them to learn that the tongue stays inside the mouth. Now, if they really struggle with this would be when I would introduce, hey, how are you producing that S sound? Is your tongue going up or down? What do you feel like your tongue is doing? And it might just be more natural for them to put their tongue down for that tongue tip down S. This is a really useful technique for a client that has just a lisp. And what I mean by that is they don't have other sound errors. So they don't have difficulty lifting their tongue up for other sounds like L, T, D. They're lifting their tongue up for those sounds. It could also be a nice technique for people who are struggling with other sounds as well, having them put their tongue tip down for the S. So I do want to add that what people think of what characterizes a lisp can be different. So for example, I had a family reach out to me saying their child had a lisp and they wanted to work with me to work on the lisp. When I met the student, they did not have a lisp. They actually had a lateralization distortion in the sh. That is when the air is coming out the sides. And so that is not a lisp. It is still under the umbrella of an S distortion, but it is not a lisp. A lisp is about placement, and the lateralization is about the airflow. So that is a placement concern, but the airflow is what's creating that distortion in that precise air articulation that we want with the S. We want that precise air coming down the middle, S, coming out the teeth. It's a little higher pitched. When we have a client that's doing a distortion, first of all, we have for the lisp, it sounds though, it takes away some of that pitch quality that we're looking for the S. And then if we're doing a distortion, sh, it's adding aperiodic sound, just creating noise that we don't want when we're saying the S sound, because that can confuse the listener who's receiving the message. Those milliseconds when they're trying to decipher what you're trying to say, and there's an articulation error, it can sometimes make it really challenging to understand what the person's saying, especially when you're first meeting them and the context of the conversation could be unknown. All right, let me know how you work on lisps with your clients. I'd love to hear all your tips in the comments. Thank you.